The first time I introduced one of my colleagues to Beanoh, they asked me why they couldn't just use SpringJUnit4ClassRunner to verify their Spring configuration. This screencast will demonstrate why Beanoh is a better solution for verifying all of your Spring configurations. We'll start by configuring two new Spring beans. We will create a new context called example-context.xml. We will import this new context. We need to define two new foo beans. The first bean has a request scope. The second bean is a singleton. Then inject different bar beans. Now we will create a SpringJUnit4ClassRunner test. SpringJUnit4ClassRunner is an easy way to load Spring and inject beans into your test. Create a test method. Run the test. The test fails because by default, the Spring Runner test looks for a specific context name. In this case, we just want to point the test at the new context that we created. The test fails because singleton bar has not been defined. So far, the Spring Runner test has worked as well as Beanoh. Now the Spring Runner test passes. But let's run the Beanoh test to be sure. Beanoh is designed to load all of the beans within the Spring context. Beanoh finds a Spring configuration error that our Spring Runner test missed. Beanoh points out that we did not configure one of the request beans. Inject this request bean into the Spring Runner test and assert that it is not null. Rerun the test. This is a different error message. We need to set up a request scope. Without wading through all the syntax, we need to set up a request scope after the context is loaded and before the bean is retrieved. The request scope is provided by the container at runtime. For testing, we have to check a mock request scope so that we can load request beans. Rerun the test. Finally, we have the same error that Beanoh gave us right away. It is a very manual process to verify the Spring context with the Spring Runner test. Beanoh encapsulates all of these requirements. Now the Spring test runner is verifying all of the beans in the context. Unfortunately, if we misconfigure another request bean, this test will continue to pass. Beanoh, on the other hand, always checks every bean in your Spring context. Beanoh is a simple, lightweight way to verify your Spring configuration. Download Beanoh today and take control of your Spring configuration.